Are you interested in applying for the Chevening scholarship and maybe you're stuck with the essay writing? Don't worry, I've got you, and we are going to write this essay together. So it's more like a tutorial on how to write your leadership essay. So if you really want to review the essay you've written, or you're not sure of what you have written, or this is your first time writing the Chevening essay, then watch this video till the end. Hi, my name is Chinaza and welcome back to my channel. In this channel, we talk about the scholarship applications and we learn one or two things on how to apply and position yourself for global opportunities like applying for fully funded scholarship abroad. And for me, I have been a winner of the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Scholarship and also the Chevening Scholarship in 2020. So with my experience, I'll be sharing with you how I've gone from not getting scholarships and getting a lot of rejections to getting two prestigious scholarship and also being a scholarship currently for my PhD. In this video, we'll be talking about the Chevening leadership essay. One thing I love to talk about is the Chevening essays. I know how hard it was for me writing the poor essays that I wrote in the previous years to writing the right essay. So it's more like an experience for me, and I love to share this experience to whoever it will help. And I believe that by the end of this video, you will find this video very, very useful. So the first thing you should do when you're applying for the Chevening scholarship, for me, I would advise you fill all the forms first and then begin to think about your essays. And one very essay I would love you to start with is the leadership essay. Why I said so is that it will give you a basis of what you really want to do. It will give you a guide. Like, I wouldn't want you to go write your career plans and career goals. First of all, let's think about your essays, because if you're not a leader, if you're not an influencer, if you don't see yourself as a leader, then you shouldn't even be applying for Chevening scholarship. So now, the first thing is the quality, the requirements for Chevening. It's that you should be an aspiring leader, or you are a leader, or you're already showing the characteristics of being a leader. So you can't jump this stage and jump to the career goals or study in the UK. Yes, I know you're interested in studying in the UK, but calm down. Let's look at the leadership essay. So the first thing here that you may want to do is to read the essay prompt. Okay, this is very important and we're going to read it now. So the Chevening essay prompt says, Chevening is looking for individuals who will be future leaders or influencers in their home countries. Explain how you meet these requirements. Bear in mind, in your home countries. Explain how you meet the requirements using clear examples of your leadership, of your own leadership and influencing skills to support your answer. So you can see here, some of the things I highlighted here, you can see it who will be future leaders or influencers. So you don't really need to be a leader now. You can be in any position you are in your workplace, in anywhere you see yourself in your current situation, or still be aspiring to be that big leader in your home country. Explain how you meet these requirements using clear examples of your own leadership and influencing skills to support your answer. So all we are going to be doing here is using your own leadership experience to support your answer, because you must think about that, and we are not using another person's leadership qualities. So one thing I just want to bring out here is that whether you worked with a team or not, what did you do with that? What did you do in that team? How did you influence the team? So don't say we. It's you, I, Chinaza, I, Informer, I, whoever you are. So that is it. So now we are done with the first step. On the Chevening website, I got this information where they are explaining to you what they are expecting from you as a leader and as an influencer in your essay. So here is it. Chevening is looking for individuals who will be future leaders or influencers in their home country to excel in this area on your application. I know some of you may have not seen this thing, but it's a very important thing to read. And now, if you remember my previous video, I said you should try to read the website, explore the website very well. So here are the things that they are expecting in your application form. Use recent examples. Highlight recent professional experiences that showcase your leadership skills. Demonstrate your influence. Describe how you gained and maintained influence in your past roles, focusing on your outcomes rather than listing responsibilities. So they don't want to just see responsibilities. This is self-explanatory. They want you to explain, describe. You see? So here we're going to be more like telling a story and also making it more convincing. So stay tuned as we go forward. And the next one is connect the dots. You see why I told you do not jump to the last essay. That's the fourth essay study in the UK essay, because you really need to identify what you want to be before you go to study in the UK, all right? So connect the dots, link your leadership traits to your study plans and your post-study goals. You see, so that's why I said write this leadership essay first. Now, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because this leadership essay will help you to write your networking essay. We may not really go into details when it comes to networking essay, because all I will say here, I would like you to apply it to your networking essay. Okay, now moving forward, the next thing I want to show you is the essay format. For me, I just love to teach. I like to explain things the way I am using these slides to show you, so that you will always remember. So I just want you to see it, follow it step by step, okay? First, I would like you to have an introduction. That's how I did mine. I also had the body of my examples. This is the body of the essay, like the major thing where they say describe. So here, you're going to describe. Remember, the word limit is 500. So you don't have you can't give all that examples. You can't list all that you have done in bullet points just like that. You have to describe. So I would suggest 2 to 3 examples are perfect. I use 3 in my own leadership essay. I also use 3 in my networking essay as well. And each paragraph was more like 100 to 150 words, so that you can have some more words for your introduction, brief introduction, and your conclusion. Remember, your introduction doesn't need to be very big or something, but we are getting to that because we're going to look at how to write this step by step. Now, we have done the formal introduction about this leadership and influencing essay. The second step that I want you to take now is to ask yourself, what does leadership mean to you? Like, what does influence mean to you? What do you think about leader? When you say leader, I'm a leader, what do you think? Do you think that you just need to hold a position as a leader to be a leader? No. So you can think about that. Think about what leadership means to you. Examples of leadership qualities and skills. You can Google that. You can think, because I remember I had to Google all, and we'll be doing that together. You will not go to Google, but I've mentioned some of the things you will see here. And then another question you should ask is, where have you done something that addressed such leadership characteristics? Like, have you done something? Like, remember I said, what are the examples of leadership qualities? Now, if you have mentioned something, you can think now. You can just pause the video, think about it. So now, here on this screen, you can see some of the leadership qualities, and I will just mention them briefly. We have the collaboration and teamwork. You have the ability to work effectively with teams. Problem solving and decision making. These are qualities of a leader. A leader should also be courageous. Are you courageous? And also, you should be an influencer. Do you have a growth mindset? And do you continuously learn? And what you learned, also what you learned, do you use it to influence something? Because you learning does not just mean, oh, well, if you're in school, you are learning, right? If you are anywhere in life, is a lesson, it's a whole lot of lessons. So what you are learning, are you using it to influence something somewhere else? Now, do you actively listen? A leader should be able to actively listen to whoever or wherever they are leading, or wherever they are working, something like that. You should have a good communication skill, and that's their ability to transmit information. You can use storytelling, you can convince people. Also, are you compassionate? How do you show that you're passionate about something, or you are passionate about something? Leaders should be passionate. When you are not passionate about something, you may not be interested in influencing anything on that area. So now ask yourself, in that field you want to apply for, that course you want, that thing you want, do you really have passion for that? If you do, let's keep going. And then your leader should be resilient. That's the ability to respond adaptively to challenges and setbacks. Okay. Now, a leader should also be visionary, and that means you are seeing things, motivating others, and also committing towards that vision that you already see in a situation, in an organization, in any situation or context you see yourself. Okay, so now let's keep going. Now we've looked at the leadership qualities that you really need to bear in mind. Now you begin to think on these qualities. Which one resonates with you? Which one do you think that speaks about you in one or two areas that you have worked in the past? Okay, so now let's move forward. Now, the third stage is the writing the essay yourself. You can pause the video here. We've looked at all the qualities, all those qualities of a leader. Which one resonates with you? Which one do you think that you've that can reflect in two examples you're about to give? Okay. Now you can pick your pen, you can pause the video, and begin to think for a moment. As you think, you're right. Okay? Think about some of the recent situations, your recent roles that you played, some of the things you did recently. Don't go back to the secondary school examples. Maybe you can start from the university, depending on how recent you graduated. For me, I used one example from the university because I graduated 2016 and I was making my applications at 2019. So I see it as recent. Okay, so recent means can be within 5 years, anything you have done within 5 years, but just keep thinking. Okay, what have you done that reflects leadership qualities that we've mentioned previously in the previous slide? If you have done something, begin to think about it. Now, the next step is we are done thinking. You are done thinking. And the next step is get in that book, now begin to make a bullet point as much as you remember. Remember in the previous video, in the previous slide, I said I would prefer you to have 2 to 3 examples. But here, the writing process, we don't need to for now. We have to exhaust all the examples you have, like everything you can think about. You have to exhaust them. So make bullet points as much as you can, as you remember. Now, the questions you should ask yourself is, what have you done? Where did you do that? Who was involved? What changed? Did it leave any impact in that organization or the people you worked with? Whose life was touched or changed? You see, these are the things to bear in mind when thinking, when going through all the things you have done in the past. And when you pick your pen, let's say, oh, what have you done? I remember I worked in this place, and when I worked there, I remember how people were going, small children were going into the processing hall for excursion, and this was bad for you, and you had to meet or to talk about it. And after talking about it, what happened? Oh, yeah, I remember that she told me that I can take this as one of my roles to do what? To make sure that that idea that I provided for the company, trying to, put it in, impose the rules and also takes charge of this. And what happened? Did that bring any impact? Did that save the company from anything? So these are the things you should think about. Look, there is something I want to correct. You don't need to own an NGO. Like, I think someone asked me a question on LinkedIn, oh, do I need to have an NGO before I make my applications for Chevening? You don't need to. I didn't have any example that showed anything. All my examples were just normal girl who doesn't have any position and just making changes in wherever I see myself, you see. So you don't need to be, you can be working as someone, a clerk or something in your organization, or just somewhere, just showing your passion and what you have changed. You can be doing anything, you can be volunteering. But while volunteering with that team, what did you do? How did your presence change things? Did you suggest something? Did you suggest an idea? I'm helping you to think. That's what I'm here for. So after thinking and thinking further, you make these notes that I mentioned. Remember, read this fourth step. What you have done, I will repeat it. Where did you do that? Who was involved? What changed? Did it leave any impact? Whose life was touched? So these are the things I would like you to think about when writing your leadership essay, okay? Now, moving forward, the fifth step that I want you to take now is to make up that bullet point. Now that you've noted all of that, okay, you can now make up your story with each of that points that you made. Write all your examples. Write all of them down. Get a book, your laptop, your whatever you're using to write. Well, I remember how I wrote mine, and I'm about to explain what I did. I wrote all that. I began to read them to just see which one has the best which one was the best example. So I chose the best 3 examples from my own pool of 5 examples. So don't limit yourself, exhaust all your examples. You can ask someone to choose for you, to read through and see which one sounds better, which one is better for your essay, for your application. Now, when you are choosing we'll get there, but I want you to have something in mind. When you are writing, also include anything that relates to your current job, or not even if it's not your current job, something that relates to what you are planning to study in the UK. Okay, does that make sense? For example, I remember when I was making my first application, I was interested in food safety, yes, but I was working somewhere that even though it has a little thing to do with food safety, it wasn't really like showing something like that. Okay, so where I was working was relating to, if you look at it, it's more like agriculture, food security. So in my second application, I focused on something related. Just one example from my work, my current work, like the place I was working at the time I applied. Okay, so and the other ones were examples from other places. So what I want you to have in mind is that when writing these 5 examples that we are looking at, you can write more than that. Have in mind that you have to write something relating to what you are planning to do, like that will show that, oh, you've started doing something in this area. Let's say you are planning to study something relating to medicine or public health, let's say. And let's say you are working somewhere. You have to give an example of what you have really done, or however your work relates to that public health and something you have done in that area. I believe that if you're really trying to apply for something, you should have experience in that area, then trying to move further. Okay, so have that in mind. Remember, do not forget that. Now, I'll still mention that again, but let's keep going. Now, to make up that your essay, there are important points in your essay that needs to be highlighted when making up. Remember, we asked ourselves some questions. Now we're going to make it up. And when writing my leadership essay, I like to use the STAR method. So this STAR method helped me a lot. I think in my first applications, I never used it. I just wrote but in my second application, I used the STAR method and I used it well. Okay, so the STAR method is, this S means situation, the T means task, the A means action, and R is results. Now, when you're talking about situation, the S, you're talking about date, when, where, what was the situation. And now, you have to make up that part of you. You know the bullet points we talked about. You make it up. When, what was the situation? Where was that? Now, the task is what is supposed to be done. What did you do? What was your task? Any challenge? Like, why? Like, why are you bringing up this issue? You know? And then, the A is the action you took. What did you do? With who? How did you do that? How did you influence? Who did you influence? And through which means. What I said that this will help you to write your networking essay is because it's exactly what you're still going to talk about in the networking essay. Okay? So, what did you do? You think about that and begin to make up this essay. I like to I start with the S, I write the task, the action, and down the result. So the result is more like what happened after, what did you achieve, who was affected, any figures and facts, like 20% of this was this. You have to make your case to look really to sound convincing. Let's take, for example, if you did something in a rural area and you said that farmers in, let's say, Ndiobu, that you train them on something that helps their livelihood and income, and they reported an increase in let's say 20% increase in their cassava production and reduced cassava the spoilage of their farm produce, for example. I'm just making this up right now. Okay, so if you just say you train these farmers in Ndiowu, Ndiowu is a place, let's say, you are not giving someone the reason to know that Ndiowu farmers are really in need. Like, how far is it from the cactus, from your state, or how, like, and you just say Ndiowu, you're not explaining where is it? You say a rural area that is la 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 la. You know, you have to make your case look compelling. You're not going to make up this story, but it's true about this place you're describing. But you have to bring up facts about this place you train people to show that there is a problem. If you don't show that there is a problem, then we won't know that it is a problem. Like, we just say, oh wow, we just went there to train people. That's nice. See? So, but if you really bring out the facts about something, about a particular thing, then it sounds convincing. Remember, it's not something you can make up. It's something that you need to look into and bring out of that situation. Okay. Now the next one is L, the lessons. I added this as an addition. What lesson did you learn? This can be optional. This can be optional if you can't fit it into every paragraph. Then leave it for conclusion. Okay. So we're coming to that. Okay. As a general lesson from all that you have given an example. If you pay attention, I didn't tell you to start with an introduction. We are coming there. For me, I would like to mention this. I don't just delve into writing introduction when I'm writing my essays. I like to give the examples that they asked first, and then based on my examples, I can think further. We are getting there, and then write my introduction. So I just want to throw that out there so you don't think that we're already writing the body of the essay, but we don't have introduction. Yes, we don't have introduction for now, but we'll have later. Okay, now we have finished making up your essay. You can pause here, make up this essay, that's your examples that you have written. The next thing is to choose the examples that align with the theme of your application. So here is something I want to say. Ensure that your application has a theme. This theme will start from you asking yourself, what do you even want? What's your career plan? What's your career goal? Where are you now? And what are you looking at for the future? Okay, so these will make up your theme. And that thing will help you to write your essay. Your leadership essay, your networking essay, your studying the UK essay, and your future career plans. So that your essay sounds like it's one person that wrote it. It will not be like somebody is writing this. It will just look like, what is going on? So you have to give your reader like that enablement to read, enjoy your essay from leadership to networking, from networking to the studying the UK essay and your career plan. Remember, that was why I said, make sure that something relating to what you are planning to do is reflected in your leadership. You can give any other examples, you can give like all their 3 examples. Let 2 be something else, but please make to have a winning essay. Try to make 1 or 2 of your examples have relation to what you are planning to do in the future, so that it shows your passion. You understand? It shows that you've started doing something as little as whatever it could be. And then you can now, when you are talking about your goal, your mind-blowing goals, somebody can say, wow, if she can do this at this tiny level, then I can trust her with some money to go study and come back and really greater things. Okay? So that's what I want you to have in mind. And now, I said it here. Now, when you are also modifying your essay, did you use some leadership keywords? Remember we mentioned some things before, like the leadership qualities. Did you use some keywords? Keywords like I influenced, I led, I organized. Because if you say I brought people together, that's not showing. I mean, literally, you brought people together, which is like you being able to gather people and lead people. But if you don't use keywords like I must, like I led, I organized, I reached out because you are influenced with my ideas to bring people with common. You see, you are making cases out of what you did, but you are not just telling it like, you're not just making it so flames like so easy to. You have to put it up and show that you know what you're saying because there is a way someone will read a leadership story and they just read it because you didn't give any keyword to make the person wow, to draw back and think about what you just said. What next? When writing that essay, remember we talked about who was involved, where, how. You can mention the kind of people you worked with, and whatever you mention, if it's not something known, you have to like explain what it means. I remember in one of my examples, I mentioned that I was training farmers on good agronomic practices. So it was like I had to explain that, okay, just to give them a glimpse in a very short sentence. And you put hyphen, da 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 da. I said the meaning, okay. So these are things that you have to explain. Make sure that you make everything clear. Don't just put up something without giving the meaning of what you are saying. Do not use any acronym without giving the meaning previously in somewhere in your essay, okay? So if there are people you can mention them, what do they do? Remember to include what they are or the position or what they occupy in that organization or in that place you work in. I believe that this has helped you to write and make up your essay, reviewing what you have written before, or even if you have not started writing, it has helped you to write to an extent, okay? The major thing about these things is thinking, getting those things you have done. Once you have gotten the idea of all the things you have done, now it's time to write your essay, and you have written your essay. This model essay that I have here will help you to review what you have written, to look and see whether, like, learn one or two things from here. Now let's look at this model essay. A lot of things were changed, but the key things of this winning essay is something that will help you write your essay and review what you're doing. Okay, so now let's look at this very essay. Here the person says, I was able to influence changes during a 1-year internship at Okoye Juice Limited. A juice, like, you don't just mention Okoye Juice Limited, right? This is the name of the company, but what is that? Remember what I said about explaining what a juice producing company in 2024. This answers the question when and where. So that is the situation. We started with the situation, and you can see I observed that preschoolers were allowed onto the production floor on excursions. And now you are making a case. Remember, let's read further. Having been educated at, let's say, Nigerian Brewery Safety Training on the associated hazard, I met the safety manager and head of administration. You see, why the abbreviation here is because when mentioning it again, this is to reduce your word list. HOA or whatever was written because it will be used somewhere else. And we don't want to say head of administration, rather we use one word and play with. I met the safety manager and head of administration. You can name them, give their names if necessary, and advocated. You see how here advocated was used. And advocated, you didn't just I told them. You can easily say I told them, but no, we are talking like a leader. So you say I advocated for a lower age limit of 8 years to be imposed and strictly adhered to. This was why, based on your previous knowledge from a safety training that the person have done, and this person is bringing this problem to the company or to the safety manager or to the administrator or whoever. Okay, you can see that. And now what happened? Due to my intervention, remember, we are coming to the result. However, I'm still maintaining my steez as a leader, okay? You're still like using that due to my intervention. I intervened. You cannot just say I made that. You can say due to my influence, due to my intervention, due to, like, you use some words that don't repeat one word. Try to find synonyms, okay? I love Oh my God, when I was writing my synonyms, I was on dictionary every day trying to. English is not my first language, but I know how to find synonyms of a word that I want to use. Now, due to my intervention, the visiting schools were subsequently notified of the age limit that will be allowed to the production floor. So while the HOA delegated to me to lead subsequent excursions to enforce the law, which I handled effectively, saving the company from jeopardy. Here I made a case. If you didn't mention why you did this, why did you do this? Oh my goodness, I'm saving the company from serious problems. Anything can happen to any child that comes into the production floor. They can go touch something that they're not meant to touch, and that could lead the company to a big problem. Okay, so this is like, when you think about this, it's not so big, right? But look at how you can make a case out of something. This is what I'm trying to make you know and understand, that you can make it like it's a problem, but if you don't tell the story correctly, you won't make people see that problem from your own lens. So that's it. Now you can see what are the key things you can pick from this essay. These are the questions for the exercise we are doing today. What kind of a leader can you already see from this example? How clear is this example? These are the things you see how clear the examples are. Is your own example as clear as this? Is it convincing enough? Is this thing convincing? That jeopardy you saw, was it like, oh my gosh, Did it follow the STAR method? And these are the questions you should ask yourself after writing your essay. And this example is just to help you review what you have written, okay? And this example is also to show you that you don't need a big position. However, remember to include something an example that relates to what you are hoping to do in the future. Okay, in the public health sector, write something relating to that, what you have done as a doctor, as a pharmacist. If you're an engineer, what have you done? Have you conducted any kind of training? What are you looking? So these are the things that after writing, like when you are choosing the examples you want to keep, you are choosing it based on your future, your plan, your goal, what you want to study in the UK. You see, that's why I said this is the basis. Write this one first. Okay? I know I'm talking with passion. I always like to talk. It's not that I like, but somehow I see myself talking with passion. Now, an example that we can see that you don't need a powerful, big, great position or leadership position. Okay? Now, as we go for that, we are looking at now the 7th step. Now, the 7th step is, we have seen that you've made all that examples, you've made up your essays, you have written all that essay, and you have to read through your examples. From all the examples, what kind of leader do you think you are? Because we are getting to another point of writing your introduction. So you need to read through all the examples you have given to know what kind of leader you are. You could tell what kind of leader the person that wrote that very essay, from the first one and second one, what kind of leader they are. They were not having a position, but they took some steps. They mustered courage. They see things, like, you see. And now let's formulate our introduction based on that question you've asked yourself. I believe that you have what kind of leader you are now. And now, what do you understand leadership as based on your own example? Because that's why I said, when writing an introduction, I have it here. Read through your examples first. From all the examples, what kind of leader do you think you are? These are the steps to write this introduction, because that's what guided me to write. Find a word, a phrase to attribute yourself. Take it that they asked you to read about this person. Okay, now, when writing your essay, I want to mention this. I put this point so I don't forget it. Take it that you were given an essay, that body of essay that you wrote, and they gave it to you to give a heading of what kind of leader this person is. And now, based on those things you wrote down that are the kind of leader the person is, you can now formulate your introduction. I would beg you, please don't give any quotes according to Nelson Mandela, according to John Smith, no. Okay? What does leadership mean to you? What kind of leader are you? What lessons have you learned from your leadership. These are the things that will guide you in writing your introduction. Remember, that's why I said write your examples first, and then let's go to the introduction. Maybe it's not the best way to write it, but it has helped me a lot to know what to even write in my introduction. Because it's after I look at the body, I can now say, the introduction should sound like this. Now, let that perspective be what will be evident in your essay, because whatever perspective you see leadership as, let it be what will be evident in your essay examples. Okay? Now, let's look at this example of an introduction that was written in a winning essay. The introduction started like this: as a transformative and visionary leader, I muster courage and move beyond norms to achieve common goals and make lasting impacts in any setting I see myself. Did you read that? This person has identified themselves as a transformative leader, a visionary leader who musters courage beyond the normal set, like not a leader, but I will muster courage to come up with an idea that I see in anywhere I see myself to achieve a common goal. A common goal is like not just my own personal goal, but a common goal of others. Making lasting impact. Those examples showed courage without a titled leadership position. Then the next thing is beyond norms. That word beyond, it's beyond the ordinary. Then making lasting impact, the influence made a lasting impact in that organization, in that department, in that wherever. In any setting I see myself, that's with or without a leadership position, even among teams, or being the lower worker. The writer summoned courage to identify what problems with the knowledge and ideas to make changes. So you can see this very introduction. Look through your own examples and write your own introduction. Now let's move forward to the conclusion. For the conclusion, remember there was something Chevening said about connecting dots. Now we're going to connect dots based on all that we've mentioned. Remember how the introduction started? The examples, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, depending on how big the example you're going to give is. Do not just give one, don't give 5. Don't list examples. I mean, 500 words, you can't even achieve that. So give like 2 or 3 examples and then conclude. So here, the person states that I strongly believe that Chevening will offer me invaluable platforms through its events and networks to whet my leadership and influencing skills, so that I will be well positioned to make notable changes in Nigeria. So here, the person have given all the examples and now saying that she believes that the Chevening will provide that platform that will help to develop more leadership skills and that will position her in that place that she can make big changes. Now, Chevening is convinced that this person that is anywhere she sees herself is making tiny but big changes. That means if we give this person this platform, she will do well. The conclusion helps you to summarize all your examples and highlight how the Chevening scholarship will help you achieve your goal and your study plan. And that's why Chevening mentioned here, you remember this thing was mentioned in our second slide. It says connect the dots that link your leadership traits to your study plans and your post-study goals. Okay, now you can also mention the lessons you learned. That's why I said when you are talking about the STAR method, after using the STAR method, if you can't put the L like star, I use star only in my examples. Okay, I didn't use the lesson. But however, if you have some lessons to mention, if you can't put it, if word limit cannot allow you to put it in the paragraphs for each lesson, because I prefer if you have lesson for one example, you should give for the next so that you be consistent. But if you don't have lessons for all that you want to give and word limit does not allow you, remove all that lesson and bring it to the last paragraph. In conclusion, through my leadership and my influencing skills, through my leadership or through the leadership qualities you have shown or something, you have learned that working with a team or bringing up ideas and having people to think about this idea helps in or something like that. Think about what you have learned. When you think about it and put it, And now still mention the importance, the relevance of Chevening scholarship to those qualities that you already have and the ones you are going to develop through studying in the abroad, studying in the UK, through their networks, through the Chevening trainings and all the things that they could bring. Now, how do you know what Chevening offers? Going on the website to explore, to know what Chevening offers to the alumni. So if you don't even know that Chevening usually have networking events, how will you know that that will help you to come together, network with other food security experts from the industry to see how things can go further? How will you network? How do you want to influence changes? If you have the Chevening network, remember, it's not just you that maybe will be taking to study masters in public health. There are other people that have studied something in law. You people can come together, bring ideas together, and create some change, like notable changes in Nigeria. So that's what that kind of thing you are trying to bring. I'm using Nigeria because I'm in Nigeria. In your country too, please try to find out what you people have in your country and what the British Commission in your country is already doing and where you want to bring in your case, okay? So don't think that you need to be in a special area to apply for Chevening. If you look at the application form, there are different sectors. So if there are specific sectors they want, they will not list all that sector. So whatever sector you are in, you are doing great. So find something very strong to put up for your essays and your application. And we're already coming to an end of this very video. So there are things I want you to avoid in your essay and things I want you to note. So here, avoid using we. We did this, we did that. No, focus on I. I influenced, I did that, I led the team, I intervened, something like that. Avoid grammatical errors. Use Grammarly. I know English. If you're not born in certain countries, English is not our first language, so you can always use Grammarly to proofread. I use Grammarly. I didn't even use the premium. I use that normal one. Like so, proofread your essays. Also, you can give somebody to read your essay. I had someone that read my essay. Like, shout out to my friend Joe. I really appreciate Joe. I call him Joe Mandem because he really is like a brother to me. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Unko. Thank you, Shanika. Shanika read my essay as well. So all these people I mentioned really played a role in my Chevening application journey. Okay, so thank you very much, and all my referees, I appreciate you so well. So let's continue. Don't submit your essay without thoroughly reading, even when Grammarly have corrected. Sometimes, when you start clicking all the things Grammarly suggested, it can remove some context in your sentence. So please be mindful of that. And also, don't use AI to write your essays. Please avoid that. Also, don't copy other people's essay. Well, that's not your examples. During your interview, they will ask you questions and you need to answer. So if you're not qualified for Chevening, if you don't have examples to give, please look for another scholarship that doesn't really require you to give leadership examples, and just write your statement of result, statement of purpose, and get the scholarship, okay? So don't use abbreviations without explaining it somewhere in the essay. I mentioned that previously. So that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope that this helped you in your essay writing, or will help you as you review your essay. It's quite longer than I expected, but this is just to give you an explanation of how to write your essay. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. If you know whoever this video will benefit, do well to share it with them. You will do them very good for doing so, by doing so. Also, if you have any question, please do not forget to drop it on the comment section. I will answer your questions. And thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Wish you good luck in all that you do. Success will come on your way. It can either be this or another. All that you need is a yes. So please spread your tentacles. Don't just apply for one scholarship. I indicated in my Chevening essay, I remember, that I'm applying for other scholarships. Yes, because I'm not here to just apply for only Chevening. But then, so I wish you good luck in all you do. Goodbye.